Hi, everybody.
Hi. Hope you're all doing good. We have a cat outside.
You might hear him or her. It's not our
Yes.
cat, is it?
Well, who knows?
Who
It's
knows?
possible.
Hello to everybody, especially the members who are here bright and early.
Yes, and welcome to everyone from the public. We're seeing some familiar names there that have been joining us. So welcome. Yeah, tonight is going to be interesting.
I guess.
Yeah, Lawrence decided to spice it up again and do something that I could never conceive. Like a plan to save the country.
Would you rather? We'll be discussing
Would you
scenarios.
rather? Yeah.
Yes.
So scenarios, it sounds like fun, and hopefully we come up with a couple of interesting ones. Maybe some of you can come up with some interesting scenarios. Would you rather? So let's see what we can come up with. But welcome to all of you. I hope you all had an awesome day. So this is a live stream for the public. So hopefully we can keep on growing this. We almost have 50 people in. And last week we had well over 200 people in the live stream. The closer we get to 9 o'clock, the more people actually join. And we almost had 300 people twice now when we carry on for like an hour and a half.
It's amazing. I'm very surprised by how high the turnout is. So thank you for everyone that keeps coming back. And looking forward to the participation. This one's going to be a little bit participatory.
Yeah.
It's not Zoom. Like we have our Zoom interactive sometimes. So please participate in the comments. It will help greatly. But even if you just take this as rhetorical questions, then that is fine as well.
Goeienaand, Anna-Marie. So welcome to all of you, Lana, Marsha. I'm going to single out the people from the public that are not members. Lynette, Shirley, Heine, TK. Welcome back. So a lot of you are familiar names, and it's awesome to have you. It's also, of course, awesome to have the members with us. We will see you again on Thursday evening.
Yes, where we'll be discussing something brand new, which I'm super excited about.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are excited about that. Pristine Eagle, Mark, welcome.
It's one of my favorite topics, which Des kind of has banned us from speaking about, but now we're doing it in our members. We'll be discussing the world's religions, and I cannot wait.
Yeah, so it's going to be historic. It's about history only.
Historic, not like our opinions. We're taking it from an historic basis only.
So it's going to be safe for everyone to watch. It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be a learning adventure.
Yeah,
a journey of discovery.
Okay, so we almost have 100 people in, and then I suppose we can get going. Mark, Pristine Eagle, Evie, welcome to all of you. Lana, we should have, it's going to be good. Just discussing that, I think many things happening in the world right now, it's relevant for us to go into the history. And we're starting with Zoroastrianism.
We're actually going one step back.
One step back, okay.
And we're doing a bird's eye view of...
overview of the timelines of religions. Yeah,
Correct.
So that's the first thing we're going to do is a bird's eye view of the timeline of religions, how they actually fit together.
And we're not going to, every Thursday, it's not going to be in order of the timeline.
No.
We just first want to give you the timeline so there's some perspective. And then we'll pick interesting ones as we go along.
Yeah. I think it's going to help a lot of people that are interested in that type of thing.
What we will interweave as well, I think we should, is symbolism, because different religions at different times held certain symbols important. So I'm looking forward to this. This is a topic that's always interested me since a little girl. And I know it's interested a lot of you guys here. So I'm looking forward to that very, very much.
Okay, Paul, you said you enjoyed the 4-eye art training. Okay, made you rethink many things.
That's what we were hoping for.
We really hope that people will rethink. We have taken drastic action in our lives because of it. To us, it's real. It's not a fantasy. When you are told by the president of your country that that's a focus of his, when you have departments all over the different provinces for the fourth industrial revolution, when they are pummeling into your kids in school, what part of a conspiracy theory is it? That's what I don't understand.
Couldn't be further from a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, it's reality. You've been told it's reality, and it's being implemented. So at the end of the day, it's a choice, really, that you should want to make. Okay.
Hi, Robert Sim. Are you new? You seem new.
Yeah, so Lana says, yes, I'm like a confused at times. Lana, what are you confused about? Please
Fourth
let me
Industrial
know.
Revolution or religion or something
Yeah.
else?
Hi, Robert. Welcome as a channel supporter. Thanks. We almost have 100 channel supporters. People that just support the channel so that we can carry on doing what we are doing. I have good news, people. Last night, 10 to 11, cubic unit 1's reactor was taken critical. Now, that is not a bad thing, like as in a
person
victim
being
in
critical.
hospital in a critical condition. It means that unit 1's reactor was taken critical with the new steam generators installed for the first time. And the unit should be synchronized on Friday. If all goes well, there's many tests that need to be done, and they will be done perfectly. We in the nuclear industry don't take any chances with anything. So everything needs to happen in its appointed time. If there's anything we want to resolve, we will resolve it. We want those plants to run for another 20 years. So we do what it takes. We don't take shortcuts in the nuclear industry, as they have been doing at many of the other power stations within Eskom. So you will get a good product, and that's super important. So big milestone, Unit 1 reactor being taken critical. And yes, Unit 2, we're already doing a lot of pre-outage work, should shut down on the 25th at this stage. That might still change, depending on when Unit 1 is synchronized for a second time. They will do a black start test, or not a typical black start test, but a house load test on Unit 1, which means it's one of the main benefits of having those stations. And they will be doing a full house load test with the new generators that actually have more power. So we have to make sure that all the systems can deal with it. Okay, so there's 2 synchronizations. So it'll be putting power out on the grid, hopefully by this weekend. And that's not what you're going to hear in the news, because I don't understand the technicalities, and that's fine. But yeah, you will get it from someone involved in the project.
A pro.
Yes, the real deal.
I wish you or people like you could train journalists to report accurately on what's happening. I have new faith in the system. Dave explained to me 2 weeks ago the grant training. The grant training?
Yeah, I don't know what grant training is.
Interesting.
Omega training.
Oh. So let's start. Would you rather? And this is just a random one I thought of while you were speaking.
Yeah.
And it's one I've thought about kind of recently. Would you rather live in blissful ignorance now and maybe suffer a couple of surprises as they come? Or would you rather bear the burden of understanding and knowing all the threats locally, nationally, and internationally, and living with that responsibility, not only to do something for yourself and your family, but everyone?
Wow, that is a difficult choice. I think if I grew up in a different life, I would choose the first one. I would be a coward. I feel like I was flung into the situation I'm in. It's really difficult. I don't know.
Definitely the latter. Sometimes I wish the former, to be honest.
It is a heavy burden, because I think people bear burdens to different degrees.
Maybe.
As you know, there's always the people that do us. You know, there's the people that will always give a helping hand.
Yes.
It's always a group of people that take on that extra burden. So people are burdened at different levels, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think if you think with your brain rationally, of course, you want to know everything. But I think it does sometimes suck the enjoyment out of life, sucks the spontaneity. And making decisions, you make different decisions when you're anticipating certain threats.
Not always as fun. And also how you consider things aren't always as fun. You know, when you think, should I go there? There could be a danger or threat where I'm going. Instead of just going there in bliss and ignorance, your chances of staying alive is a lot better.
I actually think ignorance is the wrong word. It's innocence. I
Yes.
want to be innocent of all the nonsense.
I lived that life once.
Yes. People not knowing seem happy. Alana, that's exactly what I'm trying to get at. They seem more
Alana, I think you're right.
The biggest problems is what you read on News 24. Inflation, the government sucks, etc. I mean, I wish those were my biggest problems. Saint says, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I'd say so as well. Bridget says, rather the latter, although it makes things difficult with family who would rather have the first option, 100%. especially if it's spousal.
Most people live the first option. It's just easier. It's more natural to be reactive. It's not the best strategically. It never is. I must say, I wish I didn't know many of the things I knew. I must be honest.
Yeah. Sky says it's like being fit makes you healthy. I know. It's not pleasant. Every time we go run, I am like a little brat. I'm like, why did we go? Until
you often say, I wish we could just get someone else to take over what we're doing, because it's hectic.
Yeah, it is hectic.
Life is difficult enough on its own.
Life is, well, it's supposed to be the most difficult thing. I think it's a learning journey. That's part of life's purpose.
That's one of the most profound things you've ever said.
Ever. What? A learning
journey. That life is the most difficult thing.
Yeah.
Wow, I need to think about that.
It's like someone said, people say life is short. It's not. It's the longest thing anyone will ever experience.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, Shirley says the trick is knowing but not allowing it to consume all your energy. Shirley, yes. Getting that balance, I suppose, is that challenge.
Can you get a balance?
Christine says what I sometimes feel. I would want to know what is coming, but that makes me maybe miserable.
Andries van der Walt, I go everywhere, I feel nothing. That's awesome, Andries.
That sounds
I want to go to war with you. In die loopgraaf.
Definitely the latter. One cannot unknow. Yes, and that's Lorraine. That's what I'm saying. It takes your innocence away, in a sense.
Yeah, people say life is stressful enough already. I agree. A lot of people are at war with their bank balance every month.
Absolutely. I mean, that's enough
at work,
stress.
It's
Marlene says,
legitimate stress. Okay,
very much so.
Very legitimate stress, people.
Marlene says, I'd rather die free. Well, I'd rather die free than dying a slave. Yes. I think the secret is to trust the Lord for your life, be prepared for the worst, but live your life in faith while you can. Yes. But I think this is where the difference comes in. Preparing for larger threats than just what's in your immediate surroundings means you actually need to take certain action. That action takes time out of your days and weeks and months that you could otherwise spend doing other things. And that's interesting. Being a freedom fighter, and I'm sure any ANC comrade could tell you what a drain and how taxing it was, how they spent forever away from their families for a greater good cause at the end of the day, their own liberation, the liberation of their people, and how that's turned out now, that I'm not judging, but the actual sacrifice, it was actually a need at the time. And it was a sacrifice.
I actually think some people, like I say again, like drama. So I think for a lot of people it was an escape. I've actually thought about it a lot and looked at a lot of the personality profiles of many of the people that call themselves freedom fighters. We've met some real freedom fighters. They didn't vote post 1994 because they didn't believe in the system that was put in place. They knew it was a coup. They knew it was fake. So many of the people that were put in positions, they've actually been prepared for this government. They weren't the real freedom fighters. The real freedom fighters, I believe, were very disillusioned.
Yeah.
And they still are looking for something different.
Yeah, true freedom.
Yeah.
So that's
I think the EFF managed to capture a lot of those people.
They did. They did. They say amazing things sometimes, but if you look at the policy documents, it's pure, unadulterated communism.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I want to own all the land for you. I will fairly dish it out. No, man.
Okay, so that brings me to the next one, which I was thinking about, because a lot of people have portrayed to me, not a lot, a handful of people actually have portrayed to me that this is an option they like. And it's interesting. Would you rather have a very competent government that delivers lots and lots of services well, with minimum corruption? You get taxed a lot. There's a lot of control, a lot of surveillance. Not quite a smart city. Think of a country like Norway or Switzerland. Would you rather have that, where life flows smoothly, electricity? I don't know. There's not going to be massive until it doesn't.
Yeah.
And would you rather?
But in your mind, you always think it's going to work. Yeah.
So this is a better question. Would you rather live in a first world country with government control, or a third world country where the government hasn't necessarily got its grasp on the whole population?
And you're more free because of that.
Yeah, but maybe in a bit more poverty. Which would you rather have? Would you, the first world, would you rather go to Canada or Uganda?
Well, I don't know how controlling they are in Uganda. You might have chosen a really bad example. Hopefully you understand what Lauren's trying to say.
Yeah.
We have been bombarded with burdens. All of my relatives buy and shop and go on vacation while I've spent the past 3 years preparing like a mad thing.
Yes, listen, doesn't that Brian vacation sound divine?
The latter, third world, and be free.
And that's hard because it means possibly no running water, no electricity, growing your own food, dealing with drought.
You see, life's becoming laggy.
Oh, no.
So I don't know.
Definitely not Canada. I know I said Canada for a reason because they're crazy. Third is we are, third world.
It's still considered first world, yeah.
Yeah, third. That's between a rock and a hard place. Rather third world and be free.
In most third world countries, you'd be free unless there's some dictator. Even with dictators, you get groups forming, that keep you more free where you live. I mean, they don't have proper control everywhere.
Yeah. Michael very eloquently says, freedom and liberties ain't free. They are not free. They are a huge responsibility. We've been prepping for years, little by little, says Ian, so we can still do the braais, etc. Nico says benevolent socialism is what this scenario sounds like. Until the benevolence becomes a bit bitter with envy and greed, then it is full-on totalitarianism.
Yeah.
I think that's something this community understands.
Yeah, human nature is quite something, and that's why Lauren say you can't have people living on top of each other. And, the own plan you've put together, people are supposed to not all lump together. I mean, that's...
No, leave each other alone. Hashtag leave our kids alone in the system. Government must leave us alone and we must leave each other alone until a problem needs solving.
Yeah, then you work together.
And we solve that problem and then we get...
You can't have the Tanny skinnering over the fence.
I can't
society.
stand that.
We actually watched something last night about a town in the outback in Australia.
A documentary on Netflix. It was fascinating. I can't remember its name.
No, but some dude that vanished in a little town with like 12 people in
11, and then there was 10
11, then there was 10 after he vanished.
Everyone knows each other's business.
Initially, when these people are interviewed, it sounds like they all do things together, etc. And later, after this guy vanished, you realize they all freaking hate each other.
The
like
politics. This is why we need government.
Yeah.
That should actually be a case study for why just 11 people. 11 people in total.
Well, they made a huge scene of this one man disappearing because this is few people.
One man caused a lot of conflict. He's the one that ended up getting whacked, paddy whack. So,
I'd say that.
For me, it really just highlights what humans do and why we will need government. We can't not be governed. It needs to be that presence. However, it needs to be limited and defined, and it shouldn't be able to go beyond that. I saw Rumblin' Wolf, who I haven't seen yet for ages, so hello and welcome back. What did you say? Freedom, third world rather, something like Canada version would be terrible in South Africa. Lots of people say the latter. The latter teaches you self-reliance quick. Yes, you can actually build something from scratch instead of being subject.
Eskom actually collapsing is one of the things that's making the country more self-reliant. So that's one of the upsides of what we are experiencing. The South African people are becoming more energy independent, even businesses.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we are becoming stronger because of it.
Yeah.
As long as a business has got their own power and individuals have their own power and farms have their own power, and it's not controlled by some consortium, which is a very different ballgame.
Lana says freedom is everything but hard work. It is hard work.
Very hard work. And a lot of people, the thing is, you see.
What? Us? Are we frozen? No.
No, we're not frozen.
Lorraine said she lived in a first world country for a long time. Maybe I should get the comments up there. for 20 years with total control and all the comforts, but now I live in SA and have flourished in this crazy country. Nico says the Scandinavian flavor of socialism only works for us. Homogenous population, high and standardized education. Is it a high education though?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Or is it just
Standardized education? That sounds to me like something where no one can progress.
thorough indoctrination?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Rich natural resources that create positive value trade. Although I have seen like forest schools and more unconventional things, but I think it's still communism. I wish I was raised to be self-reliant. Mic cracking noise. Paul, this is a nice place to be. I have grown to realize that I don't have to have any fear. I would like to describe myself as relentless. This took me 50 years and many life lessons. I love my life without fear now. Ooh, that would be cool to interview you and discuss that. I think a lot of people act with fear without realizing it. Fear of many things.
Paulo Jordan, I didn't join the struggle to be poor while
Sure.
the things were discussed and agreed to beforehand. And it's actually sickening. How can you call yourself a freedom fighter and someone that thieves from the public afterwards? It's sickening. There's many people that have said that. I mean, these discussions were had in many meetings, many press briefings. In jest, ministers have said, I didn't do this to not be well off. It's actually quite sickening. And the thing is, those people that were in the media, etc., they just played a role. I don't know how you can call that a freedom fighter.
Not at all.
It's a propagandist more than anything else.
It's a big deal if 9% of a town's population disappears.
Yes, it is a big deal.
Okay, next one. Loving the comments here. I'm not reading all of them, so please do read. German MEP just declared the pandemic was a trial for further potential invasion. Wow, interesting. I wonder on what platform that was. Next question, and this is one that ties into what Des put in a poll not so long ago. I'd like to know, and be honest here, when it comes to spiritual or religious beliefs, would you rather live in a neighborhood where everyone believes more or less the same thing? Or would you prefer, like literally prefer, not tolerate, but prefer to live in a neighborhood where there's genuine diversity? Like on your street, there's at least 6 different religions or belief systems. Would you rather have a neighborhood where everyone's the same and you feel the sense of community and you worship the same? Or would you rather have the latter where there's true diversity?
What about people that don't worship?
Or other, I was going to say, or other. Well, that's the same. If you're like an atheist, would you rather live on a street where everyone's also an atheist?
You might just not be a worshiper and also not be an atheist.
Okay.
I mean, there's so many variations. Everyone the same.
Prefer diversity, everyone the same. I think there's pros and cons to both. AJ, I like that. I experience uneducated people every day in a first world country. Diverse. AI setting political narrative. Do people not realize the danger in this? The latter. Love the diversity because we get to try all different types of food. 100% yes. I find life in Italy less controlling than England.
Yeah, Michael, we speak about AI and the problems of AI a lot. We covered parts of that. Goodness, how many long videos have we done on artificial intelligence? Many.
Actually, those did the poorest.
Yeah, people aren't interested.
Because I was the one that would always say, let's do this on AI, let's do that on AI. And Des would be like, no.
People
and then we would do
to.
it.
Yeah.
When your topic's the children.
Children, no
AI.
one's interested in children, no one's interested in AI.
People want to hear how bad things are.
Sadly. Yeah, unfortunately.
Or maybe that's how the algorithm works. I don't know.
Oh, you'll see by the amount of people in the stream, this topic is just not sensational. So people aren't interested.
Felix, I prefer different people in a community. It makes us grow as humanity. I definitely think when you have ideas in conflict to one another, that is what spurs on progress.
Do you know what I would want? I would want people with certain values and principles.
Yes.
I couldn't care about their religious beliefs, but there's certain things I want to be the same. with the people that live around me. I would prefer that. And that is based on safety under various circumstances. I don't want someone that's going to do something crazy under certain conditions because of their beliefs, which I might think are absolutely freaking crazy. So that's just how I feel. So I would want people with similar values and principles. And they can come from different religious backgrounds, different cultures. But values and principles to me are non-negotiables. If I had to live in a community, if I had to live in a community of people,
I actually asked this question because from time to time, since the inception of OHM, the minute someone asks me my spiritual opinion and I let it, poof, like I drop some followers or subscribers or whatever. And I find it sad because I appreciate a vast array of different opinions and belief systems. But a lot of, not a lot, but there's a percentage of people that
it's a large percentage.
If you're pushing
10% is a lot.
An ideology,
5% is a lot.
Or if you're pushing some kind of plan or solution, they want you to mirror their beliefs exactly. Otherwise, they abandon ship with immediate effect. And I find that an interesting...
to me, people can have different beliefs. But that when you want the same beliefs, I think that's an air trap like you cannot believe. You cannot progress like that.
Yeah.
It is self-damnation. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Values and principles are not your spiritual beliefs. I mean, those are things that create a good, strong, solid society or community.
Religious beliefs are the fundamental basis for law, which leads to different understanding of right and wrong. DC Mumby. Birds of a feather, soot. What? I hope I'm not swearing.
Yeah, kind is looking for kind.
Liz, I did not know you were also a Virgo. Would you rather be... What's next? Do you want to do the next one?
No, my brain's not there. You're popping them out like this.
I wanted to ask a silly one, but anyway, I hope you have tolerance for funny ones. Would you rather be stuck in an elevator with President Cyril Ramaphosa or ex-President Jacob Zuma?
Yeah, Lana, with your statement, you actually separate yourself from other people, and we need to be careful when we do that because we are all humans, and this is where religion starts to divide people in a dangerous way. Because you will find people from various religions believing completely different things within that religion. So to make assumptions that a person is a certain way is the most dangerous thing that religion brings us. And this is one of the reasons why we want to look at the history of religion. Not going into the religion itself, this is not a right or wrong thing at all. Yeah, Zuma will be so much fun.
Definitely. If there's no choice.
Between Cyril and Zuma in prison together.
No,
what?
and if you were stuck in an elevator.
Elevator. Oh, definitely Zuma.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I had another one now and I forgot.
We'll talk about so many things. We'll agree on many things.
You probably
too.
would, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll be able to learn a lot from him too. If you ask him about Quattro Camp, you ask him about the Zionist influence in creating the ANC, many other things. Mind will be blown. Yeah, Jacob Zuma is a walking dictionary or library on many things. Skip.
Sorry, random automatically adds. Do you let us know if you see random ads in this video?
No, we stopped it in time.
Okay.
Oh, stort copy.
Liz, I'm sure we can discuss that in our Thursdays.
I can tell you that Helen Zille will also pick Zuma. She'll be in the lift with Zuma long before she'll be in the lift with Cyril.
I read Helen Zille's autobiography many years ago. And yeah, she speaks fondly of him in an interesting way. What was my other one now? Completely forgot. You come up with one.
Would you rather?
Oh, this one. So looking at the world and the state of the world and social trends, and especially social trends in Western countries, This might take a little bit more introspection and thinking out of the box, but do you think it's easier to be, and would you rather be a man or a woman in this current day and age?
That's a really awesome one.
Yeah.
Hmm. Can I give me ideas?
Silence. I honestly don't
I think there's a
know.
delay in the comments
Okay.
between us actually speaking.
So what's your answer?
Wow. Definitely a man.
Thinking about the dynamics
Our
and
physical strength, I would choose.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think's easier?
Man. Definitely.
Nayla, I agree. I also can't imagine being anything else, but it's regards to the social status of each gender portrayed in mainstream culture. Women for sure. I think it's harder for the younger generation because I think a lot of youth, as men, enter adulthood with zero opportunities before them, which makes it almost impossible to start a
Yeah.
family.
I do agree with Debbie. The new period in time will be favoring women. Absolutely. So I've said many times that women will change this country around as well as the world or places in the world. It will be because of women. I will still come as a man because the physical strength, I think, is a huge advantage.
Will always outweigh
Yeah, and that is
anything
why
else.
we are supposed to protect women and children. That is our duty as men. And in the world now, women are having that claim on protection stripped away. I mean, it's absolute insanity. I don't know why on earth any woman would want to take on the role that a man should have in protecting women and children and
Mm.
fighting for them,
Mm.
for their freedom, etc.
I agree. I mean, technically, life can be rather simple for the female counterpart. Rather, a man being single and not being able to build or fix things is quite frustrating.
We can build communities where women can be a lot more empowered. The Amiga training will help with that. However, a man will always biologically have that strength advantage. And I think in the world right now, that is what I would prefer to be able to do. And then protect women and children. That's what you should be doing.
TK says definitely easier to be a man. Being a woman sucks and harder to get opportunities. But I think often in the workforce these days, a woman will get a job over a man. A lot of times.
No.
You don't think so?
No. It's not about getting a job over a man. It's about circumstances. At this stage, I still think that, and I think Jordan Peterson describes this really well, that most women don't want certain jobs.
Yeah, he's actually.
End of story. He's 100% correct.
No one else really tackles that.
Yeah, it's like the African National Congress recently said that there's not enough transformation with regards to females being in certain positions. It's because they don't want it.
Mm-hmm,
so now you have to go and find women and torture them in a position, take them away from their family and their kids. That makes absolutely no
Olga,
sense.
I resonate with what Olga says. The type of man you're describing, Des, are few and far in between.
Yeah, but we can clap that reg, and women can demand that. I think it's super important that women demand that men are that way. And women can enable that. There's a simple way. I don't have to put it simpler than that. Women cause this problem themselves. They sell themselves too low, and this is a huge problem in society. And I think religions of the world have created some of the worst circumstances.
It's a bit more complex.
It is, of course it is. Because you see, teaching values and principles of prophets or deity or whatever you want to call it, okay, is one thing. Then for people to control how they bring that across for their own benefit is a totally different thing, and that is religion. Religion is man-made. All religions are man-made. I mean, I have to say that off the bat. I don't know any religion at all that's not man-made. It's the most ungodly thing you can find is religion. The word and what it represents.
Yeah, so Thursdays are going to be fascinating.
Very interesting. Definitely.
So this isn't a would you rather question, but it's something I've been wanting to ask the community in a while. If you could, in a new system, become the state president, what would be your top 5 changes? What changes would you make with immediate effect after taking office?
5? Goodness gracious, you really...
Okay, 3.
Make it 2 or 1. Goodness.
As many as your fast fingers will allow.
See, the comments are a bit delayed. It's
Yeah.
rather like a 10-second delay with the comments coming through.
A wonderful internet.
Yeah. So that'll be the basis for our discussion on religion in the members' lives.
It's going to be
It's going to be fascinating. That's my starting point, and people don't have to agree with me. Once we are done, that'll be patently clear. In fact, most people will be shocked because most people just gobbled up what they were fed since they were very young, and therefore they cannot follow teachings. They cannot follow proper teachings. They're following a pastor or a dominie or a what do you call a rabbi?
Yes.
or whatever.
I understand that. I think I understand that perfectly because you relinquish accountability for how pathetic your life
You
is.
actually spoke about that earlier. It's easier to relinquish that accountability to some foolhardy idiot that just takes you for a ride.
Some awesome comments. So, no advertising. I love that, Liz. Education. If education changed, no parties. Beautiful. I'm voting for you, Liz. Religion and politics are designed to cause conflict. Yes. Food and beverage industry. Nice, Nello. That's with obviously a focus on health. And because healthy people are happy people. Happy people don't commit crime.
I can't wait for people to put their names in a hat in a new system to run for president.
And
I really cannot wait to see what in a new system, who will come to the fore, because what you see there now will run a mile in a new system. Okay.
Hope so. She says also agriculture, schooling, recycling, cleaning up. Now, there's a couple of OMIs I know, and me as well, that's super passionate about waste management, because I think how we discard of our waste says a lot about the state of where we're at as a society.
Every day I drive past that waste treatment plant. It is
terrible.
Disgusting. Oh, the pollution that comes out of there. A lot of people say, but we're recycling the waste. And I say, no, you're killing people. That's what you're doing.
Change electoral system, change political system, stop funding drug rehabs, addicts get nourished too much, liability. That's an interesting one. I think if you change the environment, technically you change behavior. There's been various studies to that degree. And I showed my kids a series on YouTube today. It's world's strictest parents. So when really troubled teens go to super strict parents. And one of my kids actually observed, but these kids are more often than not growing up in like flats or in a metro situation. They don't spend time in nature. And could this be why they are acting out? I tend to resonate with that. Makes kind of sense.
Yeah, grasshopper, that's absolutely true. All you have to do, many people to become an atheist, is read the Bible. Well, the book that was compiled by a bunch of people that murdered each other at the Council of Nicaea. And they murdered each other a couple of times. In fact, there were 3 murderings that took place. When you just look at history, it's going to be fun. But we'll start way back and look at the whole big picture. And once you do that, your mind will just open. And yeah.
Felix says all public works done by prisoners. The government will save so much money.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine all the street sweeping, the garbage bin removal. There's so much that can be done. It's unbelievable. Reintroduce army accountability, legalize magic mushrooms. Yes, his favorite. Not. People that have no sense of connection tends to addict more. 100%.
Yeah. TK, were you the person that gave me the biltong sticks in in Oudtshoorn, flying pigs? I think I would investigate most lawyers and would most likely be able to change most of them with crimes against the state. Charge. I think the legal system, anyone at this stage, the legal system is at a low. I actually watched a video the other day with polls where the legal system was still seen as fairly high compared to other things, but it has taken a massive dip. So people don't trust the legal system anymore.
I've never trusted
Well, the
it.
state in many things is almost non-existent at the moment. When people's trust in the state is at that low, you actually don't have a state anymore. They are actually defunct right now. They should all resign and we should implement a new system.
Change the pharmacal control of the country. Allow more alternative health.
TK is not accepting responsibility
Allow
for
more alternative health. Teach true spiritual growth and respect for one another. Nuclear power plant, says Michael. Massive stimulus money creation for productive purposes. World-class skills development. Bridget says minimum taxes. Yes, I'll vote for that any day. Compulsory growing your own food. Education to empower children to start their own business. Military training for boys is a definite. I would remove everyone off free SASA grants and employ them instead, creating food forests across the country, except for the elderly, and create food forests throughout the country. Wendy, that's brilliant. I love that idea.
Listen, we can plant food everywhere. There's nothing stopping people from planting food. Remember the guy that grew stuff on his on the pavement outside his house?
The government
that got fined
in Cape Town. Even doctors are dodgy. Look how they told us, yeah.
That's a GP. Come on, man. There's some GPs that have spoken out against this. We know some of the people that have spoken out against many of the things that have happened. But it was almost like a conspiracy amongst the GPs to just toe the line and not speak out.
Yep. But yeah, that's just how the system
protecting
works.
their businesses, yeah.
Of course.
The government actually said that if they spoke out against what the government is doing, they actually created regulations against that. The media, as well as any medical professional, they were not allowed to speak out against what the Coronavirus Command Council said, or they would be sanctioned. It would be legal.
12 years maturity leave. You mean maternity leave? Or do you mean maturity leave?
Yeah, that's school.
Yes.
That's school.
GP.
12 years of school.
Put a price on plastic. Yes, Derek. The amount of single-use plastic circulating is ridiculous. Doctor equals drug retailer. Maternity. Wow.
Maternity, yeah.
12 years. That's a huge price for government to pay for one's reproduction. There should
but
be
remember,
other ways
there is a
this.
country that gives you 2 years leave, the dad and the mom.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Moms do belong with their kids.
2 years, mom and dad.
Yeah, mom and dad.
I saw them traveling South Africa with their
That's
kid.
pretty cool.
On the government's money.
Nice.
Yeah. You get full pay still.
That's wonderful. Sue says the thought of being president terrifies me, and it absolutely should. If it doesn't terrify you, you should not be president.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the irony, and that's the conundrum, and that's like we're stuck between a rock and a hard plate, because it should terrify you. The
hard plate.
Hard place. Sorry.
Hot plate.
I've got food on my brain.
Oh goodness.
They're now giving men maternity leave as well. Yeah, it's called paternity leave. I think it's a good thing. Fathers should be.
I had paternity leave. That was like very few days after the child's born.
Yeah.
Like 2 or 3. Ishkam had paternity leave.
Yeah. I remember how my second born used to cry, absolutely wail every time Des left for work.
Yeah, he would bawl his eyes out.
for months, and I'd have to console him for about half an hour. He really was upset. So I can see the need for a dad being home for a little while at least.
But you can't just force that at the cost of the taxpayers. There's no such thing.
So the best
You
would
don't have a
be-
right to something
The
like
best
that.
would
Do
be
you understand?
to have self-reliant security to such an extent that you can take the time off.
Well, one can restructure how you run businesses. And people need to make that choice themselves. You can't force it on people.
Well, that's what we actually slightly touched on in the Fourth Industrial Revolution workshop. You'll see how the First Industrial Revolution coincided with Adam Weishaupt and his vision and his propagation of his philosophy, as well as Amschel Rothschild and the banking system, lending money to monarchs and all the rest. It was parallel. So they could have been, from the agricultural revolution, we could have taken a completely different path. But here we are into the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Now we need to somehow jump back to agriculture and start building from scratch in a completely different direction where there are different priorities upon which we build modern life.
The social contract that we have as citizens with our government, well, it is a social contract, because the moment that social contract breaks down, like the poll suggests at this stage, you don't have a government anymore. The citizens need to holistically, or on a large scale, believe in the laws that the government impose on them, because the politicians in government are lawmakers. They impose laws on you. They let the police. So very quickly, in most countries where you go beyond a certain point, the government becomes irrelevant completely. So the people need to be in a place where they still believe, yes, the police should arrest that person for doing X, Y, Z. If whether you believe in that law or not is irrelevant. It's what the majority of people believe. The moment the police starts doing something and the majority of people don't agree, then common law takes over. They'll corner the police, like literally. And I've seen that happen, where people gang up against the police and tell them to stuff off. And they have no choice but to do that.
TK says, because of having babies, we as women battle to find work. It's a stigma that we will always take time off for it. I never had kids and never will, but it's always a consideration for employment. And when your kid is sick and you do need to take time off, you feel like such a burden. Because the male colleagues don't do that. Their wives do that.
Yeah, Terence, I think there's many things in history that should be things that kids are taught. And some of it's going to be very tough lessons, but between the age of 16 and 18, I think kids need a few lessons in history, like things that normally schools won't tell. And these were Zionists doing this to Orthodox Jews. Even said things like that they are worth less than a donkey in Palestine. I mean, these people were just cannon fodder. It's absolutely horrific what actually took place. But anyway, I don't want to go into that history now. I've covered enough of it in my videos in the Moments in Time series. So you can go to the Moments in Time playlist if you're new and go and watch those videos. It took me days and days to put them together. So that'll give you my perspective, a completely different picture on the same history. So that history is set. It's not history you can wipe away. It's not conspiracy theories or anything. It's there. I just give you a different perspective on it.
Kids having smartphones today is a bad idea.
It's a very bad idea. Stream freezing.
That's terrible.
But we're going to start finishing up now. I think
at 9ish.
Yeah, I think this was a really good idea, Lauren. And hopefully all of you enjoyed this.
And one more.
Let's go for it.
So kind of jumps off this candidate, or would you rather hope and pray that someone else steps up?
Even if they're not as good as you could be.
Even if they don't share your principles necessarily.
Now you really dagger to the heart.
Yeah, because this
is the crux, isn't it?
On this concept hinges pure democracy.
Mm-hmm.
The willingness for everyone in this live stream to stand for public office if deemed necessary, meaning you don't like any of the candidates. You see them as people that lack integrity, knowledge and skills. You believe you can be better than them. Therefore, you stand for public office. And not I don't mean that in an arrogant and judgmental way, but if you see a gap that needs to be filled, would you rather fill it, or would you rather slip into the slumber of tyrannical dictatorship? Freezing.
In the Eastern Cape.
Voting should be compulsory. If you don't vote, there should be a penalty. I think that's a little bit difficult to police.
There are countries where they do that,
few, yeah.
But that's not democracy then. So once again, that's a dictate. So you cannot force a democracy. The whole idea of a democracy is that people willingly choose to do certain things, which means education. You need to teach people to understand what it means to be a citizen in a democracy, a true democracy. And that's why we don't have a democracy. The only democratic thing we do is make an X on a piece of paper in a system that can't be cheated if there are representatives present. So all the people in that have been to a by-election knows that we cannot cheat the system.
If you have enough volunteers in place.
If you have enough volunteers, it's a rock-solid system. As long as we have ballots, papers, you can't cheat it.
So TK has throwing an interesting spanner in the works here. I wouldn't be accepted as an open lesbian and pagan as a candidate. So that's interesting, because in a true democracy, I think if you are a minority, and even a minority of a minority, I think you almost have a responsibility to declare your principles and beliefs so that it has a voice out there in society. So thinking that you won't get the majority vote shouldn't stop you from being a candidate to begin with.
I think it's super important that people share their ideas. So put your religious beliefs aside, your associations aside, okay? Put that aside. What you should do is tell people what you do believe should be done politically, or as if you were a servant of the people, as a president, what you would do. I think that's important. I think it's super important. In fact, those other things shouldn't matter. You know, values and principles can be lived by all.
That is the beautiful thing with the 6 principles. As long as you believe in liberty, protecting human life, respect the earth, being self-reliant, you believe in continuous progress, you believe in national unity. Doesn't matter if you're a pagan lesbian or a fundamentalist Christian, as long as those 6 principles come first.
Yeah. And the values, I think, are super important too.
Love, knowledge, justice, and action. Yes.
Love, knowledge, justice, and action.
Yeah, and that's and because that's what I had in mind when I started OHM, is how do we take such a diverse country and get people to a meeting point?
It matters to certain people politically in a new system to say what you would do in a country is absolutely up to you. And, you know, anyone that says that a certain person with certain beliefs or lifestyle choices should be ousted and thrown to the side or whatever, I don't want to live with them in any society. They're a danger to society for a number of reasons. People that will hold that kind of narrative or belief could make wild decisions based on something that is not fact or reality. It's based on their current beliefs. And when that becomes radical, it becomes dangerous.
They can turn on anyone at any moment.
Any stage can do crazy things. So, yeah.
Any final would you rather?
I like what Marlene says, stand up and lead, otherwise I should not complain about the mess around us. So we need leaders everywhere. That's important. And I think people are confused by that. They want this person to be standing up, raised up on a platter, to be served to the nation, to be the person they can worship that's going to save them.
Most people are in that mindset.
Because of religion.
I agree.
This is the problem.
Yes. So the way OHM works is the way the country should work, in the sense that the success is dependent on everyone's involvement. which is difficult.
No, it's the
And
most
slow.
difficult thing because everyone's been brainwashed to work differently.
Yeah.
So it will take time, and it's fine because it is happening, and that is what's important. You know, I want to just leave with one simple concept.
Okay.
You don't need any mediator between you and any godly figure you believe in at all. If any God is worth worshipping, you should be able to communicate with him directly.
And by mediator, you're talking about like a religious
A
leader.
religious bloodsucker. That's what I want to call it, literally. Because a lot of people are fooled in that way. A lot of people almost worship a person claiming all sorts of rubbish. I mean, the nonsense I have seen pastors and whatever they call themselves preach to people, do workshops on symbolism they don't comprehend or understand. Speak about things they have no clue about, and people are just lapping up what they're saying because it's what they need. It's like you said earlier, they need to hand that over to that person. That person must believe everything for me. And this is why, and it might come out skew and crom on the other end. It's still better than you trusting me or trusting Lauren. And this is the difficult thing with the plan that you've come up with. People want a person to save them.
And this is year 5. I'm turning 5 in December. It's year 5 of not actually working, but working for a movement, for a cause I believe in. And again, I root caused and analyzed it, and it goes back to because I want humanity to progress, and I don't believe that we can progress in the system that we're in. Not just political system, but I mean the entire system, the global system, which we've been around for. It's been around for such a long time. And I want humanity to progress. If I die tomorrow, I want to know that I've done something to forward the progress of humanity as a whole. And that's a big goal. But I think I kind of share that with a lot of people in this community. And it's a lot of work to do that. And we have to, and this is why it's so important not to get caught up in arguments on policy and arguments on little petty things, and focus on the big picture, and that's progressing humanity.
And that can't happen.
But this is the other problem, your poll. So a lot of people believe the Earth's going to end, or the world's going to end
in the next 2 years.
So why should you care about the progress of humanity if the world's going to end in the next 10, 20, 30 years? Or even
no,
50,
actually, the
years?
majority of people was 20 years or less. The world's at an end.
Hectic.
I think 44% of people said that not in our lifetimes.
So I've never ever...
Because they've been taught you must just sit back, wait, believe a thing, and you will be various things at the end. Between raptured or translated, transfigured. I mean, there's so many different interpretations. As there are people, you will find different explanations. It's like a video I watched the other day on Jewish people explaining how they understand Jesus, and every single one of them had a totally different explanation. They actually have no cooking clue what they believe. That was the best. And then the person asked the rabbi what he believed, and different rabbis believe different things. It's fascinating. So religion has just caused one massive combobulated mess because it's man-made. If there is a high intelligence, which I believe there is, okay, for my own personal reasons, it will not cause this mass of confusion. Things would be a lot simpler. And what we have created is just horrific. And we need to move beyond that.
So we need to seek truth and progress humanity. There we go.
Well, truth is once again relative. Truth is not reality.
It's relative.
It's not reality.
It's not reality. I mean, we've done a whole workshop on that.
Yeah, so truth and truth is not reality at all. And I think there was probably quite a bombshell for many people.
Good question, Grasshopper.
There is no right. At the end of the day, when we look at the history of religions, it's not going to be religious at all. We're just going to look at the history. I think people's eyes are going to open because you're going to see the same traits through all of them. You're going to look at the older religions and you're going to see how they tied and how they were transferred into the later ones, including Christianity, Judaism, Islam, the whole lot. So there were influences there from earlier religions, the bad versus good, black and white, all of those things you will find. You will see it through Eastern religions. You will see that the same source gave information that got so flippant, warped and distorted by humans. Unbelievable, actually.
If you love humanity, take responsibility, says Michael. I like that.
Yeah, I like that, yeah. Okay, I think we've reached an hour now. It's really nice that you confabulated. Combobulated. Yeah, it was awesome to have you with us. The world used to be ruled by monarchs. To me, there is no perfect system. We'll never have a perfect system, but we can try and make it better.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a duty to do that. Anyone that believes, the world is ending in 2 years' time, it's fine if you believe that. You're wrong. The world isn't ending in 5 or 10 or 20 or 30 years' time. It's not.
Yeah, but this is the problem. There's scripture that says there are many that will deny.
I don't care. Because I'll be alive then still, and then we can talk about it. Okay. So there's many reasons why I know this for a fact. Unless even if some massive freaking asteroid had to hit the Earth, or we had to explode all the nuclear weapons we have on Earth, the Earth will not come to an end. People will still survive. It's incredible what we can actually do. And I'm not talking about people surviving up in space. I'm talking about right here on Earth. Okay, thanks a lot for joining us, and I hope you have an awesome evening further. Yes, the world as we know it end, and that means many different things to many people. It was specifically shaped that way. So whether it's religious or whether it is circumstances, whatever, but it still gives us an idea or concept around where people are at. And yes, I added that bit in for a reason. So the world as we know it, that keeps on changing all the time. There's going to be no rapid period in which the world changes just like that. In fact, in 10 years now, it's so long how technology changes. In 10 years, you will get used to things over that period of time. And you won't even know what it was like 10 years before. Think about 10 years before COVID. No one would have said that the world could be locked down. No, not a chance.
Changes have happened. I think the past 20 years has been wild.
Yeah.
The level of change.
I don't think people maybe take the time to look back.
I miss the days when we didn't have smartphones and internet at home. Do you remember when we didn't have internet at home? Yes, Grasshopper, exactly.
Yeah, every day, Grasshopper. That is probably very accurate. Yeah, I like that, Andries. Lauren's favorite topic, the rapture. Absolutely.
I passionately do not believe in it at all.
Or what other people describe it to be, yeah. You still need to find out what it all is. There's so many different versions.
I bought this already.
No, what other people believe it is. Oh, goodness, there's so many different versions.
There's 2 main schools of thought. It's funny.
2 main schools of thought.
Yeah.
There's many schools of thought. But in any case, it's going to be interesting. Join us Thursday evening, and then we will get cracking with the history line. It's going to be interesting.
Ungovernables. Yes,
ungovernables. I like
being
that.
Ungovernable.
Yeah. Good night, everyone.
Yes, go do something rebellious.
Yeah, absolutely, Andries. It's those were perfect control tools, but we'll get there. Okay, you will see that running through many religions. It's a form of control. It's really powerful. It's worked for a long time, but hopefully we can cut it down to size. Okay. Good night, everyone.
Good night.